Hi, good morning. This is going to be a wonderful conversation again with Peter Green, who has a background in science. Really, I have to say, I think Peter spent a lot of time in school, but he's very interesting and has been a very a formidable client of mine. And I thought maybe what he had to say could be interesting for all of us. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you. So, Peter, I know that you have a background in science, and I wanted you to just speak to that for a few minutes. And
Relative to psychics, you mean?
relative to a psychic reading.
Well, you once told me that you look into my subconscious mind. My interpretation or definition of subconscious mind is what we inherited from the animal kingdom. Like it or not, we did not get the two front paws, the two back paws. You look at the formation of an embryo, there's a tail, there are gills all the way back to when we came out of the ocean. You know we came from the ocean, don't you? Mm-hmm. How do you know?
I don't know, just what I studied.
If, God forbid, something happened to you, what would be the first thing, in a car accident or whatever, what would I do first?
I don't know.
Rush you to the hospital so you can get back into the aquarium of the ocean from where you came. I'd put it in your arm and I would call it saline. Okay. And it happens to be the same salinity level that it was at the beginning of time when life formed, etc.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah. Now I got myself all excited.
Now, see, that's why I love living on the water. I need to look at it.
All of us.
I have to drink it in with my eyes.
From whence we came.
Right.
But the subconscious mind has all those primitive feelings that Mother Nature gave us so that we could evolve into what we are today. What Freud called conflict was, he described it in a model where he called the subconscious mind the id, ID.
Right.
And he called the conscious mind the superego. And he said, we exist just below the two of them, but in between. If we have strong religion, strong upbringing, strong education, then we drift toward the superego and hang out there. If we don't have anything like that, but we still have to survive, we go back to the id and survive off of our basic animal instincts. He said if the two are equal, then you go back and forth like this. He said if you go back and forth real fast, he described that as conflict. And then later on, the medical profession said it's that conflict because stomach aches and all kinds of diseases and et cetera, et cetera. What I think you do is alleviate that back and forth and reinforce primarily the superego and give us the ability to not have to depend on the id or not have to go to the id, which when we evolved like cavemen and everything and from the chimpanzees or whatever it was, the first thing that happened was we would hear thunder and lightning, and that's where the first ideas that there's something bigger than all of us came into being, and that was religion. Then religion became, because it was too diverse, etc., we still had to control ourselves with our neighbors so we could get along. So we invented laws, and then further civilization, and regions of civilization, etc., etc. But and of course, somewhere in there became the Ten Commandments, which are direct contradictions to the subconscious mind, and to the subconscious mind, what it directs us to do. You are able to, at least in my case, tell me what it is that I'm hearing, which part of it I should listen to, not listen to, and clarify it. And for me, it works. It stops that back and forth, which was Freud called conflict.
Right.
It stops the conflict. I rely on it, sometimes for better or for worse, but I rely on it, and at least it helps make a decision.
Yeah, so it's conflict resolution, and that's what the whole thing is all about.
Right.
So when you're getting a reading, you're what I'm trying to do is find out what exactly is going on
Right.
with you and how to resolve, the conflict. But it can't be resolved unless you change your thinking, because you are what you are thinking. You're attracting all of that to you.
You're not,
Law of attraction.
you're not going to get rid of the id, the subconscious mind. That's not going
Right.
to change. What you do, though, is you cause the ego, which Freud said floats, to float more in the direction of the superego. And you're able to further clarify the superego. A lot of people go through life without religion, without laws, without civilization, without anything. Watch TV. And my point is, you're able to strengthen that superego, and I guess that's what you call it, life coaching.
Right.
For me, that's what I see as happening.
Right. Well, I think life coaching has become a phenomenon in the last 10 years or so. People, I would say in the 80s, everybody went to their therapist, right? It's, oh, my therapist said this. Then in the 90s, it was all about getting a psychic and having a psychic reveal your path. But then after that, people just, whether they can't afford it or...
That was it. When I was doing Psychic Friends Network, we did a study. The therapist went out when you can't afford it, and Medicare, Medicaid, whatever it was, your health insurance wouldn't cover all of it. The next step were the psychics. After us came a lot of not genuine people, and people got hurt, people got taken advantage of.
Right.
It ended for all of us. So the word psychic is not...
It's not anything
yeah.
anybody wants to hear.
Life coach is what it is today.
Right. But it's all basically the same thing. The issue for many people is that you've got to go to your therapist, so you have to get in your car, drive there, park. It's time more
Right.
than being able to afford the time. And then I think the pandemic kind of happened and helped a little bit, because everybody can talk to people now online or through Zoom. I don't require that at all. It's just a conversation on the phone.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of social media. One of the basic instinctive drives for social animals, which we are, is to have our own group and not have other groups on top of us. When you have other groups on top of you, it starts like the lions on Animal Kingdom on Saturday mornings. You chase away males from another herd.
Right.
You fight over food, et cetera, et cetera. That's when there are too many animals on top of each other, overpopulation. Or biology, what they taught us was we had a big pen with pigeons. And if there was a big pen, you fed them, they were fine. As you made the pen smaller, they started fighting with each other, and they created the alpha male, the one that was
Sure.
whatever, through something called the pecking order, and et cetera. Those are the instinctive drives. Social media tightens that pen.
Absolutely.
They kill each other, they shoot each
No,
other,
absolutely. Yeah.
they overdose.
Well, anyway, I so appreciate you talking
Oh,
to me
no problem.
about
I'll send you a
this.
bill
Thank you so much.
for my therapy. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate Peter Green's time and his energy. I feel as though it was interesting for all of us. I thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you.